Hello, this is Sibylith. This is set 9. Let's open this. Alright, so set 9 is something that I've been half looking forward to, half not. Partly because it means I get to start recording again. I kind of set this set to do that for. But we have a couple of interesting things here. Usual spiel to get Rishinev. They actually promote the Vanguard X Shadowverse collab here. We'll get about to that. There's no unboxing for that, don't worry. So you can check that out. Pretty cool product. There's the Divines anime. I think this is the graphic from season 3, which is a bit unfortunate, but hey, whatever. And we have the triumphant return of Box Toppers. Not really, because we were supposed to get this for Divine set 3, but this is also another Shadowverse collab. This is Lyrical Archer Throne. This is a neutral or a nationless critical trigger. You can play in any deck. Has no effect or anything like that. So one thing I don't like about this set is the pack. It looks so washed out. I'm glad it actually shows up here in my recording, because I've taken pictures and like I feel like it doesn't show, but like Minerva and DAI KAISER, they look so washed out. This looks like a fake pack, right? It looks like I bought a knockoff, and sometimes when you buy a knockoff product, they look kind of like, you know, not as bright, right? They look kind of washed out, and that's kind of what it looks like, which is ironic considering how I feel about Vanguard to an extent. I did a whole depressing video about that I guess you'll watch sometime this week. But in any case, as you saw, this is, you know, Sibylith from the anime. This is his like true form back on Craig when he's not a giraffe plushie. He has a deck now, which is pretty cool. This is the grade 2 for the deck. It's a deck that a lot of people I feel like really like, but they feel like it just needs a little bit more support. Unlike this deck here, this is the deck that I was the most excited about. This is for Heart Lulu or Happy Toys. This is just the grade 1 of the ride line. That is basically undeniably the best deck in this set, so a lot of people definitely want to pick that up, right, for competitive reasons. We also have 2 collabs in this set. So we have the collabs that were supposed to be in set 8. Instead we have them in set 9. So we have 2 new decks. We have Ave Mujica, which is a new Bang Dream deck, which basically plays like Link Joker because they lock their own units, or plays like Messiah. And then we got a new form of Bang Dream. So they got an evolved version for the Bang Dream, I'm sorry, the Bang Dream Mygo deck, but they also reprinted the older cards, right? Here's the main card for Heart Lulu, which is the Toys Are Made for Children, which is basically like an Arc-Right type search order for an Arc-Right search order for an archetype from the top 5. Wow! And our first double here is going to be the Loyal Bravery Nebula Knight Cornelius. So this is for the Nebula Knights deck, if you can tell from the name here, but this says when this is placed on a rearguard circle with a grade 2 with Cornelius, so the grade 2 version of itself, if you overcall in the same column, you choose a grade 1 with the same, or with Cornelius from your drop, call it to back row rearguard circle. Then if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 1, look at the top 2 cards, choose 1 from them and put it to your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. This is not Vanguard locked, which is kind of cool, so you can technically play this in other decks. Then it says if this attacks, if you have Vanguard Nebula Knights, it gets 5k to the end of that turn. And finally, at the end of the turn, you choose a grade 2 or less with Nebula Knight in its card name from your drop and call it to the rearguard circle that this unit is on as rested. So it kind of acts as like you going down a grade, right? And you kind of ride up on rearguard circle, which is kind of cool. So pretty cool deck. Another one that's kind of hampered by the not, well, I guess I shouldn't say by the same thing as Sibylith, but it's kind of hampered by the fact that there's a really strong order that comes with that deck, but it is unfortunately stuck in promo hell because it is a Youthquake order. This is a Youthquake deck. Here's the grade 1 there, whoops, grade 1 version. We also got a bunch of, as usual, different common cyclers here. A lot of them look really cool. This one's actually just a common card. It's a rare, but I just mean it has like a generic effect. It's not shared around any of them. Perfect. But here's actually Sibylith. First triple row is going to be Sibylith himself. So this is Malwarm Sibylith. So act on Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 1, choose up to the same number of your rear guards as your opponent's grade, and until the end of the turn, they become mental pollution state. And then they get auto at the end of the turn, retire this unit, and they also get 5k. Then at the end of the battle, this unit attack, you can counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards in the mental pollution state, or choose up to one of your vanguards and stand it to the end of the turn. Its drive becomes 0 and it gets plus 10k. And if your opponent's vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you choose 2 instead of 1. So I'm pretty sure you can mix match and choose either 2 rear guards or the vanguard and a rear guard. Finally, once per turn, when a rear guard in the mental pollution state is retired, you can draw 1 card. Very unfortunate that that's once per turn. Otherwise, this might have actually been a good deck if it was maybe like up to twice per turn or something like that, right? Anything like that, right? This is what we originally thought was a Spinal Marquis support, but every nation got a grade 3 that can boost. Here's the Brancate 1. They reprinted Dayusha as well as the Dai base, right? And we also got ourselves some more Dimensional Robo support, which is pretty cool. Perfect. We got ourselves the Dissection Angel, which has made a friend of mine very sad because the pre-sale for this is insanely expensive. So this is a really cool generic triple rare because these generic triple rares, they basically combine the effects to an extent of older generic double rares that we got in the start of the standard era, right? So this one says if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 2k. Then it says at the end of the battle, if this unit boosts, you can Soul Blast 1 to retire this unit and draw a card. So that's the effect of Painkiller. Then it says once per turn, when your drive check reveals a trigger, you can Soul Blast 2 countercharge, and this unit gets 5k to the end of that turn. So that's basically the effect of this grade 1 from set 1. I'm forgetting the not Falcracia, not Falcor. I'll put it on screen, right? But I'm blanking out on the exact name, but it's a Divine Sister. So really cool card. But it's nice to see them do that. They did one for every nation, right? They combined like Flaming Pony, right, with Gunram, which is really cool. Which I will be using in my barrel deck, which is really nice. Here's the starter for Heart Lulu. Here's the starter for Sivlith, right? Very cool. Here's the starter for DAI KAISER. And we got ourselves an SR, first SR, maybe our only SR for the set here, this opening, is going to be Glistening, which is funny because the art is actually glistening, right? Glistening Nebula Knight Lord, Sirius, who I was really interested in like building or finding out what they do, but then they revealed the art and I was really disappointed because this got to be the dorkiest looking Vanguard grade 3 I've ever seen in my life. But she says, on Vanguard Circle once per turn, return 2 cards with Nebula Knight in their card name from your deck to your drop. To the deck from your drop. Choose up to one of your rear guards. Search your deck for up to 1 card with Nebula Knight in its name, in its card name, and grade equal to the chosen unit's grade +1. Call it to rear. And that chosen, oh, what the heck? Okay. Return 2 cards with Nebula Knight in their card names to the deck from your drop. Then you choose up to one of your rear guards. Search your deck for up to 1 card with Nebula Knight in its card name. And its grade is equal to the chosen unit's grade +1. Call it to the rear guard circle that chosen unit is on and shuffle the deck. So you just overcall. So it's time leap, but you just overcall the unit. Then when it attacks, you can counterblast 1, choose a column, stand all of your rear guards with Nebula Knight in that column, in their card names. And then if you Persona Road, you can discard a trigger from your hand, choose the same number of cards from the top of your deck as the number of rear guards with Nebula Knight in their card name, and put them on the top of your deck in any order. So in exchange of losing some shield value, you can you can rearrange. I don't know why I said when to mess up. You can rearrange the top 5 cards of your deck, which is kind of nuts, right? If you have like a whole board of Nebula Knights. So pretty cool. And then we got the Black Horse for Heart Lulu, which is really cool. It's a pretty cool deck. I'd really like to build it. I'm glad I got a copy with SR, so don't worry about getting the rest of them, right? Got this cute little doggo. We got this really cool card, or cute looking card for Dayusha. DAI KAISER. Perfect. Heals. Here's one of our extra triple rares, Dolores the Kind-Hearted. So this is for the Avimujica, the Messiah lock type Bang Dream deck. This says when this is placed on rear during the main phase, look at the top 5, choose up to 1 card, discard it and shuffle your deck. Pretty good. Then front row right rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, if this unit was unlocked this turn, CB1 draw 1, and if your damage zone has 4 more cards, instead of drawing a card, you do drive checks for this battle. So not that bad. Got some Ezel support here, as well as some just generic card there. Generic common. This is my fiance's favorite card from this set because it's a little penguin feeding you monster alien ice cream, right? Pretty cool. Here is the grade 2 for Belger, the Sky Ruler. Cool name. Maybe not the coolest card. Wow. We got ourselves a double rare here in the Slash Feather Dragon. If you have a grade 3 or greater with Ezel in its card name, this card gets all of the following. First, when it's placed, you can CB1 and perform draw a card or choose your original Ezel. And on Vanguard, and its drive becomes 2. So whenever you skip ride with Ezel, its drive becomes 1. So this lets you get your drive checks back, which is really nice. Then when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, you may have this unit get 5k at the end of that battle. And if you do at the end of that battle, put this on the bottom of the deck and then EV3 draw a card. So pretty good card for Ezel. Ezel, of course, got a new form in this set. He has his Platinum Ezel. Here's the grade 3 booster for Dark States. Here's a super great card for Heart Lulu. That was a little awkward. Sorry about that. My computer ran out of space mid-recording. I have a bunch of files and stuff, video files that I need to get rid of. Videos I need to actually release instead of just recording stuff and never actually doing anything with it. Right, here's a new grade 1 for DAI KAISER. Pretty cool. Set's kind of like whatever, to be honest. There's a lot of cool things here. Wow. Oh, finally I got a single copy of this. There's a lot of cool things here, but it's just kind of like eh. So this is the Giant Fluffy. This is the double rare for Heart Lulu. When this is placed on rear, you can Soul Blast 2, choose a Toys Are Made for Children from your drop or damage zone, put it to your hand, and if you did it from the damage zone, you can take the top card of your deck and put it to the damage zone. Then front row right rearguard circle. When this stands by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard Heart Lulu in its card name to the end of the turn, when this unit attacks, your opponent has to call 2 or more from hand if they want to guard, and he gets plus 2k. It's very cool. And then we got a double rare here, Victory Heart Lilyway. So every nation, obviously excluding Lyrical because they're never in these sets, got a double rare that has the same type of effect. That just says when this attacks, if you persona this turn to the end of the battle, this unit gets 2k. And some nation specific requirement, if your order zone has 3 or more cards, you can put a card with the same name as this unit from your hand into soul to make this unit's critical plus 2. I think this card's really pretty, and I like that she's a wrestler, and I really want to try and make this work in a deck. So I might make a video on that, trying to make that work, but we'll see how that goes, right? I don't think it's possible. But yeah, there's just a lot of like generic comments below as usual, right? Wow. Here's the the Stoker version of that card we just looked at. And then speaking of Keter, we have ourselves the Almighty Regalia of Ultimate T. Almighty, I should say, sorry, Minerva. This is the new upgraded grade 4 main deck, grade 4 version of Minerva. So first, this cannot be ridden other than by this card's ability. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, it gets all the following. On Vanguard Circle, during your turn, all of your front row units get plus 10k. Then in your soul, you can bind the original Minerva that's on Vanguard and put this card from your hand into soul. Or sorry, put a card from a hand into soul and ride this card from your soul. Then if a card with only Genesis for its clan is put into soul for this cost, and you did not ride during your ride phase, your front row gets another 5k power. Then until the end of turn, they get that power, and then at the end of the turn, you retire this unit, put it into drop, and ride the card that you bound for this, rested. Finally, when this attacks, it has basically the same Minerva effect minus the discard because you already put a card from your hand into soul. It's a CB1 Soul Blast 3. At the end of the battle, stand this unit and it gets -2 drive, but she has triple drive, right? So it's basically the exact same thing. So very interesting card. There's a lot of cool, interesting things. A lot of them didn't really push the meta too much because Buff Saga was still a thing. And again, there's just a lot of common bloat that could have been used to support a lot of other decks, and they just did not do that. which is a bit unfortunate, right? Instead, we just got a bunch of random common cards that have a bunch of generic effects that will probably never see the light of day, instead of supporting something like, I don't know, MLB, PPD, you know, any of those decks that we brought back, or anything like that, right? Yeah, it is what it is. We got our FR here for this set, which is the Keter version of that same cycler that, you know, you put a copy of itself from hand into soul to make its crit 2, which is pretty cool. Like there's a bunch of grade ones that just say if you play a Blitz order, you can EV3 move this card to Guardian Circle and it gets plus 5k shield, which is like kind of cool and all, but like I don't think every nation needed to get that. Or at least in this set, like we gotta space it out, introduce more interesting things. We could use those common slots for like other stuff, right? But it is what it is. This order is pretty cool. This is Fruit of Golden Sun. It's basically just Angel Ladder, but for one specific unit. So wow. And we got the Follower Rabbits here, which is for Berg the Sky Ruler. So this is a double rare, has 5k base, but it gets 1k power for each copy of a rearguard with the same name as it. Then you can pay this cost, the cost of this effect, with Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand. And if you do, instead of searching for 1, you search up to 3 rabbits. But the effect is that on place, you can discard 1 card from the top of your deck. Or you can CB1 and discard a card from your hand, right? Then you choose a grade 3 with Sky Ruler in its card name from your right deck, reveal it, and if you did, or if your Vanguard is already Sky Ruler, you then discard a card from your hand. And I'm sorry, this is the cost that you would pay for CB1, discard 1. Search your deck for up to 1 Follower Rabbit, or 3 if you paid CB1 also from your deck and call them. So very interesting card. Lets you call out a full board of rabbits, which gets you a lot of deck thinning and a lot of other things. But if we see Sky Ruler, maybe we can talk about that. If not, then sucks to be you. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't know. Here's the starter for Sky Ruler. And we're gonna get ourselves instead the Thruster Vixen for Sky Ruler. Sky Ruler is a deck that just says if you have 15 cards in drop, you can stand your whole board. So that's why there's a lot of cards that help you fill up your drop or get stuff from your deck or hand out of the way into drop, right? So this just says on rear, you can on place, if it wasn't from a unit's ability, retire a rearguard with a different name from her to summon a rearguard from your deck with this deck or drop with the same name as her. And then shuffle your deck if you search your deck. Then the beginning of battle phase, if you have a grade 3 or greater Sky Ruler, you discard a top card of your deck, and then to the end of your opponent's next turn, this gets 5k attack and shield, and if you have 15 or more cards in drop, it gets another 5k attack and shield. So what sucks about this card, the only downside really is that they made this discard the top card of your deck every single time. If they had just made it so that it was like discard the top card of your deck, and then maybe in main phase, that would have been nice too. But and then if you had 15 or more, you don't have to discard anymore, because that just forces you to deck out if you have 2 of these, because these are great beaters and shield. But you know, you have to discard 2 just to activate them, and then they also can die easily, right? So if it was discarded like they were protected by effects or something, right? Otherwise, I don't really know if that's really triple rare worthy. Otherwise, it's a really good card for the deck, but they could have done a little bit more for her, right? It's a grade 2 for Harlulu. Here is some Mygo stuff. Here is the Mygo Unadorned Heart Soya Nagasaki. So this is the new one here. So when this is placed on rear, bind a Mygo from your hand, draw 1, choose a unit, and gets 5k at the end of the turn. Then in the back row right rearguard circle, when it's boost a Mygo, you Soul Blast 1 to the end of that battle. When your opponent would call cards from hand, they must call 2 or more. Then choose up to 1 card with the same name as her, but different. So the same surname, I guess, but a card with Soya Nagasaki and its different card name from this unit from your bind zone, put into your drop. If not, bind this card. So you end up playing the original Mygo cards, which is kind of cool. In the deck, got our last 2 packs. This one was all bent up. I don't know if I did that or if it just was in the box like that, right? But we got ourselves the second to last pack here, and the penultimate pack here. We got ourselves another FR here. And the Space Rending Arm Blade, a plant slitter. So this card is pretty cool. When another unit attacks, you can Soul Blast 1, and this gets 5k. So you can just keep using this because it's not once per turn. So you can keep soul blasting, pump this guy up by 5k. So kind of cool. To an extent. I don't know if there's any real applications for that. Maybe in like the premium format you can maybe do something with that, but as of right now it's kind of whatever. That's the starter for Nebula Knights there. I was very upset because I didn't get any heart lulus, but I managed to pull one from a box. I got a pizza box and I got 3 boxes. This is the 3rd box and I only got 1 heart lulu out of it, but thankfully it happened to be SR. Whoops. And her last card is going to be here, the Toy Monster Bravelos, a triple rare. So this says, when this is placed on rare, if you have a Toys Are Made for Kid in your order zone, CB1 draw 1, and for 1 grade 3 or greater, this gets 5k. And in your front row left rear circle, when it stands by the ability of your grade 3 or greater with Heart Lulin's card name, this gets a critical at the end of the turn. So that's kind of why people call this Dark States Eva, because it has an order that it gets every turn in searches, and then they have an Obscurade that gets a crit essentially, right? This is my 3rd copy, which is really nice. I just need 1 more and I finally got a copy of the cat. So pretty good for the most part. I was kind of hoping for another Minerva, which is great. Another one of this, and finally getting the cat was great. Heart Lulu, I ended up already ordering, and getting this was really good too. So overall, really good pack. Really good box, right? But nonetheless, I wish you guys the best of luck on your pulls. Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and have yourselves a damn good one.